Oh, the classic tale of chasing someone who looks at you like they're doing you a cosmic favor just by breathing the same air. Sound familiar? That gut-wrenching thrill of pouring your heart out while she's perched on her throne of arrogance, soaking up your effort like it's her birthright. Congrats, buddy. You've become premium fuel for someone's ego, a walking mirror for their vanity. Every ignored text, a trophy on her shelf. Every curt reply, a gold medal in the I feed off your desperation Olympics. But here's the raw, unfiltered truth nobody dares to slap you with. Real power doesn't come from heartfelt speeches or emotional novels sent at 2 a.m. It's in silence. Yeah, silence. The emotional nuke that obliterates the pride of someone who thought you'd never have the guts to vanish. Want to know what scares these queens of dismissal the most? It's not your tears, your begging, or your 3-hour relationship talks. It's nothing. It's when you shut up, ghost her, and let the void scream louder than any love letter ever could. That's when her empire starts to crumble. Because pride can withstand anything except your absence wrapped in cold, calculated indifference. Today you're gonna learn that suffering is optional and disappearing is strategy. When she realizes the show's over and you didn't even stick around to clap, well, my friend, you've just won a game she swore she'd never lose. But before we dive deeper, a quick PSA. This video only made it to your screen because someone out there had the decency to hit like and subscribe. So don't be a digital freeloader, do your part. Smash that like button, subscribe, and drop a gratitude in the comments. Not for me, but for the algorithm, that hungry beast, deciding who else gets this reality check. Enough chit-chat, let's get to the good stuff. Number 1, the cycle of the man who keeps trying. How she feeds off your effort. It all kicks off with that classic delusion. You spot a woman who seems different, mysterious, a challenge like a high-stakes emotional scam in human form. And boom, you're hooked. You think you've struck gold, but really, you've just met another attention collector. You dive in, playing the good guy. Polite, attentive, helpful, a walking red carpet. You send good morning texts like clockwork, ask if she's eaten, as if she's one missed meal away from collapse, compliment her sneezes, and offer to fix everything short of her Wi-Fi. You put up with her cold replies, random ghosting, and the classic, "You're so nice, but," line. And then the show begins. She's the star of this emotional drama and reciprocity? Not in her script. She's all about the spotlight. The more you try, the more she feels like the queen of the universe. Your effort is her feast, and every ignored text, every half-hearted emoji, every sarcastic chuckle is just her testing how low you'll stoop. And stoop you do. You adapt. You shrink. You become her counselor, her chauffeur, her therapist, her buddy, everything but a man. The more you give, the less she respects you. Deep down, she's wondering, will he erase himself completely for me? And when she sees you will, poof, her interest vanishes. Respect and submission don't share a zip code. You become your own worst enemy. You hand over your power, shred your dignity, and still think you're building something. You are your own personal monument to humiliation. The worst part? You buy into the crumbs. One hey out of the blue, and you're convinced it's love. It's not, it's control. The illusion that things are about to change while she just keeps raising the stakes. The cycle of chasing only exists because she allows it. She dangles the bait, reels you in, lets you go, reels you back. And you bite, like a fish starving for scraps. The ending's always the same. Her bored, you broken, wondering where your self-respect went. Spoiler, it died with the first unanswered, "Good morning." Want to break free? There's only one way. Vanish. Ghost her. Be the silence she can't crack. As long as you're her court jester, she's the queen. But the day the jester ditches the crown, her reign's over. And that, my friend, is just the start. Number 2, her disdain is her ego's fuel. Or how you became her emotional energy drink. Oh, Disdain, that masterpiece of manipulation dressed up as emotional independence. No, dude, she's not busy, not figuring herself out, not living her truth. She's playing you. And guess who's the pawn? Yup, you. The eager, available guy who's now an extra in his own movie. She replies when she feels like it, disappears for days, pops back just to make sure you're still on her leash, and you, sweet soul, think it's charm. You call it hard to get. You tell yourself she's just confused about her feelings. Sure, and unicorns are real. Emotional Venmo exists, and her winking emoji is a cosmic sign. Let's cut the crap and face the truth with the subtlety of a brick to the face. She doesn't miss you. She misses the buzz you give her. Your persistence is the red carpet she struts on. She doesn't reply because she respects you. She replies when she senses your hopes on life support, just to keep you crawling back. Romantic, right? More like a horror flick. And you? The modern warrior of self-inflicted humiliation? You think every LOL is a fresh start. Every hey stranger is redemption. Every crumb of attention is progress. It's not. It's just a reminder she's got you wrapped around her finger, and you're still saying thank you. She ghosts because she can. She dismisses you because you let her. And she keeps going because she knows you'll come back. No matter how much you do, how hard you try, how much you prove you're different, to her, you're just another trophy in her collection. Every time you forgive, ignore the red flags, and keep chasing, she grows. You shrink. Congrats, you're her ego's favorite snack. Here's the kicker. She doesn't feel guilty. She feels power, control, thrill. You're out here dismantling yourself to prove your worth while she adjusts her crown of fake superiority, laughing at your emotional naivety. Think it's love? Think it's going somewhere? Nah, buddy. It's a low-budget show. And guess who got cast as the emotional clown? But no show lasts forever. Even the hungriest ego gets tired of chewing on the same fool. Eventually, the silence hits. Not yours. She's used to dodging that with a missed ya lol. Hers. The real silence that shows the circus has packed up. And when you finally ghost for real, the stage is empty. The audience is gone. Game over. What's left for her? The void. Because the toy she controlled just turned into absence. Cold, sharp, silent. Just like the treatment she dished out, only now it's a double dose. Number 3. The fatal mistake. Seeking validation from someone who rejects you. Or how you turned your self-esteem into her welcome mat. Congrats, champ. You've fallen into the most pathetic trap in modern masculinity, begging for approval from someone who's already written you off like emotional spam. Don't worry, you're not alone. There's a line of guys groveling to be different. Spoiler, they're not, and neither are you. It starts with that childish urge to prove you're not like the others, that you deserve a shot, that she just hasn't seen you yet. Oh, please, you've turned into an emotional billboard, shouting how valuable, special, and applause-worthy you are. Meanwhile, she's chilling on her throne of indifference, munching popcorn, watching your one-man show. And what's she thinking? Sweet. Another desperate dude handing me power just by existing. Every attempt to get noticed just screams you doubt your own worth. And nothing's more attractive to her vanity than a fragile, anxious, always available guy easy to control. She compares you, puts you down, keeps you on emotional standby just to see if you'll crack. And you do with flair. You start thinking the problem's you, that you need to try harder, that you're not doing enough. How cute. As predictable as it is sad. And then what? You become an emotional debtor, a guy groveling for crumbs of respect. And guess what a woman feels for a man who kneels before her disdain? Zip. Nada. No respect, no admiration, no interest. Just next-level contempt. Want to know where you went wrong? You forgot that validation from outside will never fill the hole you're digging yourself. You won't be valued by begging for it, you'll be used. Tossed aside. Because women don't admire needy men. They admire men who look in the mirror and know their worth without needing her to co-sign. So here's the deal, laid out plain and simple. Want respect? Stop acting like a desperate student chasing a grade. Be the teacher. Set the test. Grade it. And fail anyone who doesn't bring substance without a second thought. Before you spiral further into this gourmet suffering, listen up. Yo, champ, sick of being her luxury doormat? Done swallowing crumbs and saying thanks? Then stop playing the extra in your own drama and learn how to flip the script. There's an ebook linked in the description that's basically a defibrillator for your dignity. It'll teach you how to stop being a human rug, become a real challenge, and put any woman in her place. No whining, no excuses. Keep being the needy fool who takes anything or take control of your life? Your call. But fair warning, the world doesn't pity soft guys. And women? Even less. Number 4. When a man vanishes, her ego panics. Or the epic tragedy of a princess who lost her audience. Oh, silence that quiet, cold, razor-sharp villain that obliterates inflated egos. When a man just disappears, not some half-assed, I'll give her the silent treatment to make her chase me game, but a real, no warning, no cryptic posts, no take care, exit the game changes, and it changes hard, for her. At first, the queen of disdain plays it cool, posts smiling selfies, churns out fake happy stories, blasts empowerment anthems she doesn't even understand. All to scream, I'm fine, okay? But it's all a performance. Deep down, her ego, the one you fed with likes, compliments, and good mornings, is starting to catch fire. Her phone stops buzzing. The gorgeous comments vanish. The guaranteed attention turns to silence, and that's when her empire starts to crack. Because a woman's ego, that spoiled little beast, can't survive without an audience. And a man who ghosts, he pulls the curtains, kills the lights, and walks out of the show no note, no warning. She tries to keep up the act, but she's checking her phone every 5 minutes. Is he with someone else? Did he forget me? Did I lose control? Yup, princess. You did, and not to another woman to absence. To the silence you can't decode, because there's no comeback for someone who's already gone for good. The control slips, her confidence crumbles, and doubt becomes her new BFF. The same woman who treated you like a backup dancer is now scrolling through old texts, stalking your profile, trying to figure out why the hell you pulled a Houdini with a side of self-respect. And that's when the magic happens. Her pride, that towering, smug monument that laughed at your effort, starts melting under the heat of uncertainty. Because a man who vanishes doesn't just leave her socials, he leaves her heart. And that's a blow she never learned to block. She could handle your chasing, your begging, your comebacks. But a man who's gone and stays gone? That's pure panic. The best part? You didn't have to yell, argue, or send a novel-length text. You just shut up and vanished. Because absence is the only reply her ego can't counter. So here's the takeaway. Want to flip the game? Stop talking. Disappear. Because nothing dismantles an ego-driven woman faster than realizing the show's over and the audience left. Number 5. Silence as a weapon. The pain she won't admit. Or how shutting up says more than any dramatic rant. Oh, silence, that invisible gut punch to her bloated ego. It doesn't bruise the body, but it obliterates her pride. See, every woman who thrives on applause needs an audience. She doesn't want love, she wants a fan base. And when a man pulls the plug on the constant attention, guess who freaks out? Yup, the goddess staring at her own reflection. You stop texting, liking her posts, commenting stunning on every filtered selfie, asking if she slept okay. And guess what? The ground vanished beneath her. Because silence is the one language her ego never bothered to learn. She'll pretend she's unbothered, of course. She'll post stories with forced laughs, surrounded by people she barely tolerates, acting happier than ever. But deep down, where she's too scared to look, there's dread. Did he really ghost? Is he gone for good? Did I lose control? Yup, she did. Because the silence you're serving isn't a slip-up. It's a verdict, the end of her audience. And without a crowd, her show's just a woman talking to herself on an empty stage. No matter how many discount self-love carousels she posts, the pain's there. And the worst part? It's a pain she can't admit, because owning it would mean admitting you mattered, and she spent way too long pretending you didn't. She feels your absence where it stings most, in the mirror, in the reflection that's got no one left to admire it, want it, validate it. The woman who fed off your emotional effort? Now she's choking on the bitter taste of being irrelevant in your world. Because silence, my friend, isn't just absence. It's polite contempt. It's ignoring with class. It's the cruelest "I'm done" there is. It doesn't yell, doesn't accuse, doesn't explain. And that's why it destroys. She can clap back at anything except nothing. And nothing, delivered right, becomes a living hell for someone who thought they owned the game. So write this down. Want to hit her ego where it hurts? Stop talking. Stop trying. Ghost. And let silence do the dirty work with more precision than any emotional outburst. Because in the end, the woman who seemed so in control, she's the one losing it when she hears the deafening sound of your absence. Number 6. The indifference that tears her pride apart. Or the icy chill that turns a goddess into a mortal and insecure. Forget everything you've heard about emotional revenge, petty games, or calculated ghosting. What really shatters the pride of a woman spoiled by her own reflection isn't silence. It's indifference. Cold, surgical, deadly. She might try to slide back in. A random joke, a out-of-nowhere text, an emoji like it's a VIP pass to your heart. But you respond like you're answering a telemarketer at 8 a.m. Short, flat, soulless. And that, my friend, is when her ego's empire starts to shake. Because for her, the fun was always watching you react. That goofy grin, the instant replies, the constant flattery. But now, she's hitting a wall of ice. You don't compliment anymore, don't buy her excuses, don't rush to respond. She realizes she's lost what she thought was a sure thing, your interest. And for someone who lives off vanity, that's an emotional apocalypse. She starts doubting herself, staring in the mirror, wondering if she gained weight, if her hair's off, if her filter's failing. Because the woman who thought she was untouchable can't even pull a lol out of you. Tragic, poetic, delicious. She tries to poke, to test, to provoke. But all she gets is your absolute chill. And it's not anger, still energy. You just don't feel anything anymore. And that, buddy, is what breaks her. Because indifference isn't revenge, it's evolution. You've stopped seeing her as a priority, as a muse, as anything more than a name that doesn't spark a reaction. And when she gets that, her fake self-esteem castle built on your compliments and presence starts to collapse. Nothing she does works. Not charm, not sarcasm, not playing coy. And in that moment, when her control tactics flop, her pride falls to its knees. Because a man who's indifferent is the endgame for someone who lived off being wanted. Indifference is silence with a degree, absence with swagger. It's your proof that moving on doesn't shout, it freezes. And when she feels the chill of your disinterest, it's not just her ego that cracks. It's her whole illusion of being untouchable. Congrats, you didn't become the villain. You became the finale. Number 7, the rebirth of the ice-cold man. Or how to stop being the emotional clown and become the director of your life. After all the groveling for a glance, melting over an emoji, crawling for a crumb of validation. Finally, the man wakes up. And no, it's not some "I woke up zen, transformed, #blessed" nonsense. It's a cold, brutal, ice water in the face at 6 a.m. awakening. Because there comes a point where the shame of being a doormat outweighs the delusion of being loved. The rebirth of the ice-cold man isn't about turning to stone. It's about becoming a filter, an emotional filter, a social filter, an energy filter. It's realizing dignity isn't optional in relationships. It's the foundation. And you start to see the obvious truth no one told you. All that chasing for approval only made you addicted to rejection. A 5-star emotional beggar. Then everything shifts. The energy you wasted stalking her stories, sending unanswered good mornings, guessing her mood of the day, you redirect it to yourself. Your studies, your hustle, your body, your purpose. And surprise, that actually pays off. That builds you. That feeds you. You start to see that the silence that used to hurt is now your sanctuary. Her absence, once a wound, is now freedom. You look around and realize, damn, she was just a footnote and I made her the whole book. Congrats on the wild imagination. And the best part? You don't care anymore. What she feels, thinks, posts, hints at, it's all just noise now. Because what fuels you now is your own growth. And the respect you used to beg for. It comes naturally now, because a man who rebuilds himself commands presence even when he's quiet. The ice-cold man doesn't hate women. He just stopped buying into illusions. He learned you don't trade your worth for a spot in some spoiled kid's emotional game. And when you become the center of your own world, her throne turns into a cheap plastic stool. Her power evaporates. You won the game not by beating her, but by quitting it. Because being a real man means stopping the chase for someone who's running from themselves. And in that moment, everything that used to crush you becomes your armor. You become what she could never handle. A man who doesn't need anyone to feel whole. Game over. The stage is yours. Number 8. The tables have turned. Now she wants you, but you don't need her. Or the sweet irony of watching the Queen of Disdain become an extra in your life. Oh, how the tables turn. How silence echoes. How the man who once crawled for validation now strides forward without a backward glance. And her. The untouchable goddess who floated on your desperation. Now she's tripping over her own doubts. When you rebuild yourself, not with fake coldness, but with real maturity, she feels it. Deep. Because what was once a sure thing is now a void. The good mornings are gone. The fawning comments vanished. The human carpet she used as her runway, poof. And that, buddy, is a dagger to any pampered ego. Suddenly, the telltale signs of desperate charm kick in. A random 2 a.m. text, a forced giggle in her stories, a lame comment on your post, that iconic "Hey stranger" that deserves a spot in the manipulation hall of fame. All with the finesse of a runaway truck trying to swerve back into your life. But her problem? You don't need her anymore. And that stings worse than any rejection. Because now the one adrift isn't you, it's her. The woman who ignored you without breaking a sweat is now calculating every word, hoping for a reaction. But she gets nothing. Because the man who's grown doesn't need to prove anything, doesn't need validation, doesn't need to chase someone who doesn't know her own worth. He doesn't reply the same, doesn't rush, doesn't cave. Because he's not trying to impress, he's busy living. She feels the hit. Her throne's now a bench. Her charm's now desperation. Her superiority's now doubt. All because you finally got it. Your worth doesn't hinge on her gaze. The time she spent toying with your effort is now awkward silence. And the cruelest yet fairest part? Now she's the one waiting. The one overthinking her texts. The one wondering if you'll reply. The game flipped, but not how she expected. Because the real win isn't her crawling back. It's realizing you don't want her anymore. Checkmate. She's still playing. You've already left the board. Number 9. The final bet. The man who never comes back. Or the silent signature of someone who learned dignity isn't recyclable. And then comes the endgame. The chapter where maybe, what if, or if she changes, no longer exist. No room for romantic relapses or selective memory. The man who knows his worth makes the call every attention-hungry woman dreads. He's gone. For good. And the brutal part? It's not anger. It's not payback. It's mature indifference. The cold, calm certainty of a man who looked at his story and said, "Enough." No speech, no novel-length text, no WhatsApp fireworks. Just a door closing with the grace of someone done knocking. You might get the usual avalanche of emotional panic, nostalgic texts, generic apologies, recycled promises in shiny new wrapping. She tries to rewrite the script, restart the cycle, relight the old spark. But you're illusion-proof now. Why? Because your final bet was on yourself. And a man who bets on himself doesn't play again on a board where he was a disposable piece. He learned, he grew, and most importantly, he left. For real. With conviction. What was once neediness is now standards. She gets it. Too late, as always. The woman who watched you crawl now faces a wall. Not one built of hate, but of self-respect. Solid, impenetrable, unbreakable. Not because you turned cold, but because you became whole. And whole doesn't go back to get broken again. She switches up her tone, plays humble, acts reflective, pretends to be sorry. But there's no way in. Because you don't want her anymore. Your silence isn't empty, it's an answer. Your absence isn't carelessness, it's unintentional revenge. The man who doesn't come back knows the past is for learning, not repeating. And the ultimate humiliation for someone who thought they owned you? Realizing you belong to yourself now. There's no negotiating with someone who's left the table. And you stood up, turned off the lights, and walked away. The final bet has no takebacks. Because the real win isn't winning her back, it's not needing to. The final lesson. The ice is eternal, her pride is not. And so the cycle ends. Not with a bang, not with an epic speech, but with something far stronger. The silence of a man who woke up. Because if there's one thing a woman's pride loves, it's a weak man. A needy one. The guy who mistakes crumbs for a feast and thanks her for every tiny scrap like it's a divine gift. But the truth is harsh and freeing. The more you try to please, the more she feels entitled to walk all over you. The game only exists as long as you play. It only changes when you stand up, leave the table, and take the one thing she truly valued, your attention. Silence isn't running away. It's armor. Indifference isn't hate. It's immunity. And there's no going back. Because someone who treated you like an option doesn't deserve to be considered. The win was never about making her hurt or showing how cold you can be. It's about rebuilding a worth that doesn't depend on her mood, her approval, or her presence. When your absence becomes the verdict. Oh, buddy. She feels it. She hears the echo of the void you left every time her phone doesn't ping. Every time your name doesn't pop up. Every time she tries to provoke you and gets nothing in return. The final sting? It's not seeing you with someone else. It's not hearing you're happy. The real burn is realizing the man she dismissed is never coming back. She'll beg even if only in her head for the warmth she destroyed. But all she'll find? Ice! From the man who learned to vanish and never lose himself again.